how important is it for your online presence to look sharp? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's extremely important. I think it's important to spend that money as soon as you can to build your brand out and make things look
Right.
nice. I think being presentable as a company and as your brand um, is important. I mean, having just like yourself being not showing up with a dirty T-shirt to a bid
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
stuff like
For
that.
sure.
Your website's kind of like that in your
That's right.
brand, and
Yeah.
you want it to be clean and sharp and have good usability as well. I've been
Right.
on other people's websites and the functionality's not there, and it
Right.
doesn't look very good or well done, and that does have an impact on people's opinion.
Welcome back to the Landed Podcast. Today I'm joined with Kyle Holp, owner of KR Forestry Mulching in Ionia, Michigan. His family-owned business specializes in forestry mulching, land clearing, excavation, and stump grinding, all with a focus on sustainability, precision, and reliability. We're going to talk about how he got started, the challenges of the trade, and even some of the wild things that he may have seen out there on the job. Kyle, thank you so much for being on today. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So owner of KR Forestry Mulching. So tell me about KR. Where did that name come from?
KR is actually for my kids, Kason and Riot.
Oh, cool. Okay. Kason and Ryan. How old are your kids?
Riot. My boy is 3, and then Riot, she is 2.5.
Awesome. Okay. So you got little ones.
Yep.
I remember that I've told some friends of mine that age time period is like a blank for me. Like I can't really, because I had my kids are now they're what is it 14, 13, and 12. Or yeah, no, wait. 15, 14, and 12. Yeah. So she's about to hit 13 too. And I was
Uh-oh.
like, man, those, being that close, like 18 months apart was
Yeah.
rough. We were planning on actually having 5 kids. And by the time that third one came around and nobody was out of diapers yet, I was like, done. We
Yeah.
aren't doing this anymore. I can't do this.
Yep.
So good for you. So what inspired you to start KR Forestry Mulching?
Um, well, originally, I used to do natural gas work, as an apprentice pipeline welder.
Okay.
And then my dad passed away, 3 years ago now.
Mm.
And he bought all this equipment, just before that. He did construction and wanted to do some other stuff on the side on the weekend and things like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I had the equipment and I didn't really know what to do with it. And I was going to rent it out. And then I looked around at rental companies and seen the prices that they get for them, and kind of called them to see why they get those prices, and kind
Yeah.
of in the liability and how expensive the equipment is. So then I just decided I was laid off from welding. We have plans on going back because, I had kids and
Yeah.
priorities changed. And then I just kind of had entrepreneurship in my blood. Both my parents have, worked on their own for all my life. And so I just decided to do service for hire, and it kind of took off from there.
That's cool. So you did the welding first, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we have a good friend of ours, Ryan, producer here, and myself, we're buddies, and we've got another buddy here who loves welding. He's like our only welding buddy, so we're always like picking his brain on how does that work and what are your thoughts. And now he does like big plans and stuff. Like other companies hire him to produce the plans for the weld project, and then other welders go in and do the work. But
Okay.
he's actually been watching the show here on the podcast, trying to like learn from you guys and stuff. And so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty cool that you guys have a similar background.
Yep.
Do you find yourself using that with your machines?
Yeah. I mean, I've had some issues with my head and my plate on my skid steer. I pulled it in the shop, welded it up. On my excavators, instead of having to dig with teeth, I weld a solid plate on there for doing cleanup. So yeah, comes in handy.
Oh, that's cool. I had when I was 21 years old, no, 22 years old, I married my wife, and my father, and I'm terrible working with my hands. Like all my friends will tell you, my wife will tell you I'm terrible. So you don't want me working on stuff. But when there's been these occasions that I have, it's usually been automotive. I helped my father-in-law. We were kind of rebuilding a 1979 CJ5, but I'm 6'2", and so I couldn't fit in the CJ5. So we cut the frame all in half and had a welder come out and extend it. And he was like, "Josh, you want to take a shot at welding?" And I thought, yeah, I mean, it looks so easy. And man, I mean, soupiest, nastiest. Like I said, "Is that right?" He goes, "Well, it'll work." He's like, he goes, "I wouldn't hire you."
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, well, I'll stick to my day job then.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So again, how long you been at it now for the land clearing side?
Um, so May was a year. So we're right out a year and a half right now.
Okay. Okay. And so what do you think? Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Was it worth
Yeah.
jumping into?
Yeah. It's been good. It's been interesting. I mean, it's not something I mean, I've always ran equipment and stuff, but I never had any background in land clearing and I hadn't heard about a forestry mulcher, anything like
Mhm.
that prior to this. So it's been an interesting learning curve and getting into it and learning the different things that you're going to run into and get myself into, situations, getting
Yeah.
stuck or whatever. And,
Yeah.
kind of learning on the fly.
Yeah. What are some of those things you've learned so far? I mean, obviously how to run the company and you figured out some of your pricing and stuff like that, but like what are some of the major things that being this close to the front end, because some of our listeners are new at this or are thinking about getting in this. We got guys at different stages. So just being this far in, what would you say, like, man, if I had started over again just a year and a half ago, like this is something I would definitely do differently or would pay more attention to?
Um, I would probably say, having a better plan for marketing, would be a good thing. I mean, last year we did all right, but I kind of can see that we needed to step up our marketing game
Mhm.
and then kind of figure out how we can scale this out. So it's not just me all the time. Cause that's kind of our plan is to duplicate our setup.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend, Sam, she helps me with all the office side. We're talking about it yesterday about how we were going to scale this and stuff. And that would be something is to kind of plan that out and work on your marketing and have a plan for
Right.
what you're going to do and
Right.
kind of work that plan. You're always gonna adjust your plan as you go, but if you
Yeah.
start with direction, you'll definitely make
Yeah.
rinse and it'll help. Um, but yeah, it's I don't know. I wouldn't say anything major that I've run into yet.
Mhm.
Um, repairs are probably a big thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, we definitely have a budget for repairs. We ran
Yeah.
into significant repairs this year. Um,
Yep.
so they sneak up on you and they're very expensive when they happen.
Yeah. Dude,
So
I think that is one that people don't give enough credit to, and not thought to. We just interviewed another one of our clients, last week, or it's gonna be up soon. But what he had just had said, he was like, "The marketing's been going real well, like, we're closing more jobs, we're loving it. We finally got some money in the bank, and then boom, repair time." And he's like, "We dropped 15 grand just in
yeah,
repairs this past week." And he's like, "It just sucks because he's like, you think you're getting ahead, and all of a sudden you get slapped sideways by something broken."
yeah,
I mean, because these machines are like eating up trees and brush and stuff. I mean,
yeah,
it's insane.
yeah. It's very
So
hard on the equipment for sure.
yeah. So I think that would probably be a good word of advice is budget your repair, have a repair budget and be
Yeah,
mindful of like your overall costs and
yeah,
revenue. A portion of that needs to be going into repair costs because it's just part of the game, right?
yep, yep. And be generous with it, because you can always pull that money out for something else if you need to, but it's
True.
nice to have that little egg there for when it's time because it's like for us, I had to get tires on my truck, I had to get tires on my
Mhm.
trailer, broke
Mhm.
the track on the skid steer, front plate needed replaced, and some other things, and that was all consecutive. It wasn't spread
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So it was all within a couple weeks, and that was a hefty bill to, to take on.
Seriously. How do you handle that? Like if a machine goes out or two machines go out, what do you do? Because you can't just stop working. So what do you do?
Um, luckily I was pretty fortunate. I got a mechanic by me that does pretty well, as far as turnaround time. And we kind of had it already planned to get the plate fixed and then broke the tracks on the job just before I was going to drop it off to him. So I just
Mhm.
ordered tracks and sent it to his house. And then I had already kind of budgeted that time out for the repairs. So then I did the truck and the trailer as well. But we have looked into rental places around us that will either rent a skid steer with a head or just the skid steer out.
Mhm.
Um, in the event that I have work and my skid steer goes down, that I can buzz over and pick up a
Yeah.
rental to keep it moving.
Yeah. That's something else I'm noticing on these interviews is the balancing act between what I own, broken, damaged stuff that's getting repaired, jobs that I got to keep, we got to keep working, and then like borrowing or renting machines at the same time. So
Yeah,
it sounds like there's this whole like juggle effect that takes place, right?
yeah,
One of our again, the guy we were interviewing last week was saying he's like, one of your best friends needs to be your repair guy, your mobile mechanic. He's like,
yeah.
he's that guy. You need him like ASAP, and you need to get a good price. And it's usually on a Saturday, right? Like it's never like
Yep,
when it's convenient.
yeah, yeah. You definitely want to treat the mechanic well and take care of them.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, especially in the summertime, especially around us. There's a lot of farms and stuff going on, a lot of agriculture work, and so all the dealerships are all busy, and their mobile mechanics are usually tied up. And this is their
Right.
busy, um,
Yeah.
fixing everybody's things. So
Yeah.
can
So
put you in.
speaking of your location, you're up in Michigan, so you've got a ton of dense forest, right?
Yep.
And so, we're down here in Texas. We got a lot of brush and we got some forests too. And there's parts of Texas that have a mix of that. So, what do you use? What's the kind of machinery you're using for the most part in the dense forests?
So what I have is I have a John Deere 323D, and then I have a Lofness battle axe head on it.
Hmm.
Um, and so with that, I usually try to stick around 5 inches and down. Um,
Okay.
for most of what I do, and a lot of stuff I run into so far is um, brush and undergrowth and stuff. Everybody wants their larger trees left, and
Yeah.
and then they just want to gain their yard back, essentially. So a lot of everything we've been doing is residential right now. Did just pick up a 2 week utility contract, clearing power
Nice.
line.
Nice. Very
So,
good. I like hearing that.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. So forest piece is a big part of that. And also now like a civil type job, right? So what's the balance or not balance? What's the split between residential, commercial, and civil that you notice?
um, so I haven't done a ton of civil yet. Most everything I've been doing is residential, private private
Mhm.
people. This is my first civil job as far as like working for a utility contractor, and I'm looking forward to it. Gets my
Mhm.
foot in the door with them because I know they
Yeah.
budget around every year to do so, and then
Yeah.
also kind of picking their brain about how I can do this for other counties in my area, and maybe start picking up some more contracts throughout the
Yeah, that's
summer,
great.
expanding out.
Yeah. Now I know people are always asking. I talk to thousands of forestry mulching guys, land clearing guys every year, and a big question I get is, "Man, Josh, how do we get in front of the civil guys? Like, how do I get more of those jobs?"
Yeah.
And so how did you find it, or how did they find you? What did you do? How did you price it? Like, tell us the civil side on how you landed this.
It kind of honestly, it fell into my lap. We had an ad on Facebook and through Marketplace, and they one of their employees reached out to me, and they were talking about renting one and having one of their employees run it. And then
Okay.
he was like, hey, this guy does it. Let's see what the price is. And they just wanted, 2 weeks of time, and so
Mhm.
they're gonna. I gave them a quote for it, and they accepted it, and so now we're gonna start just after Labor Day. Um,
Nice.
We're going to have one of their guys out there with me the whole time. And we're going to be, I think we're jumping from through people's yards and, all
Yeah.
that lines go. So
Yeah, you gotta go. Yeah, we have those in Texas too, where it's like, hey, it's just you gotta leave if you have those power lines through your property, you have to allow people on and off that are with contract, and they won't go crazy, but they have
yeah,
to stay like within a certain amount of feet to that power line. You got to give them access to cut through.
yeah, keep the right of way clean. So
Yeah. Did you now in terms of pricing? How did you decide on your pricing for this job versus maybe some of the residential jobs that you've landed?
Um, being that I never did a civil job, I just went with just day pricing and just
Okay.
priced it day. They didn't really have a specific number of how many acres or how much they want cleared. They just wanted 2 weeks time to see how it goes. So I
Mhm.
just gave day prices for that.
Okay.
Um, and went that route. So and I like I said, it kind of fell into my lap because I have looked into civil jobs and I've been told to go to like your local chamber of commerce is a good place to go and talk to people. And then like in Michigan, there's a website that you can get on and you have to go through and verify yourself as a contractor.
Right.
And that way you're already pre-vetted. And then I believe it's twice a year they throw out contracts for
Right.
people to bid on. And then once
Right.
you're pre-vetted, then you can go bid on those jobs.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Guys ask us all the time because we do marketing. Obviously, we're doing marketing for you guys. And a common question we get is like, oh, can you help us also land those civil contracts? And I'm like, that's honestly, we don't do that. We don't do the civil side. But one of the things that we're actually working on at our agency is to give you and our other clients some step by step process like this, like just like what you're saying on how to land those or how to get in front of those civil contracts, the process of setting up yourself on those databases and a list of the databases that you can go and put your name on.
Yeah.
So, and this is what I think is valuable for a lot of guys is figuring out where to even begin that journey of getting into some of those civil projects because they are great. I hear that all the time. Guys are like, man, we love get those regular, consistent, sometimes long-term jobs, and then filling in the gap with the residentials and the commercials and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good line of work to get into, and I'd encourage people. I join a lot of mulching groups on Facebook and things like
Yeah.
that, and a lot of times they're pretty good guys in there, and you can reach out. If you see somebody that is doing that type of work, I've reached out to a couple of people and
Right.
shot them a message and just said, hey, how are you doing this? And they've given me some pretty good advice on um, things to look at, places to go, different ways to think
Right.
about things.
Right.
Because there's county work, there's state work, different municipalities, DOT, all that.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah, that's great. And I think you also hit on something that I think a lot of guys need to be doing is don't be afraid to reach out to people who are ahead of you. Like go into those Facebook groups or if you've got other connections in other formats, like reach out. I did the same thing with my marketing agency when we first started 10 years ago. I went into a small little coaching group and I figured out how to get my start. And then it was like, oh, I'm starting to hit my first ceiling. I don't know how do you do this? How do you do that? And I remember like begging guys, like, I'll buy you a $10 Starbucks if you could just give me 20 minutes of your time to teach me like what you're doing and how to do that. And it really worked though. I mean, it's like every time I leveled by doing that, by reaching out to guys who were ahead of me and asking the questions. And honestly, that's what this podcast is for too, is to be a resource to guys in the dirt world. But not the only resource, but like one of the resources. But there is some like private coaching and feedback to get from older guys or guys who've been doing this longer that is super invaluable. And I think there's also I wish more guys had the mentality of not seeing everybody as a competitor, but like this is a community of even though technically like you may have another guy who's doing the same thing you are, but not in your exact backyard, but not everybody's a competitor. And so like whatever's been poured into you, pour it back into others. Like give back to the community who's helped you grow and become better at what you do. And so I wish we had more guys who would treat business like that and other guys and are looking to learn and grow, give back in that way.
Yeah.
I got some guys right now in the marketing space doing that to me. I'll go sometimes. I send a little private message like, dude, I know you're like 2-3 times more in revenue and clients than I have, but can I pick your brain? They're like, yeah, what do you want to know? And they give back, and I'm like, thank you. I needed this. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I love that you did that you did that on your own, reached out to guys in the group, in Facebook groups. I think that's super valuable.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We have a local excavation contractor right down the road from me, and um, the lady I bought my house from, her son went to school with them, and so I ended up conning his number out of her, and I bugged him
Yeah.
in there to finally. I was like, "I'm going to take you to breakfast sometime."
Yes.
Your brain so he's a good person to lean on when I have questions about stuff, and really nice, down to earth guy, and I try to throw anything that I can do his way and vice versa, and
Right.
work with people like that.
Wow, that's great. All right, so you got the civil, you got mostly residential, looking at commercial whenever you can. And sometimes I call the commercial hybrids. It's like it is a residential owner who's about to build like 5 Airbnbs on the property and needs you to clear. And it's like that's technically commercial, but it is a private owner. So you're like, it's I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a new name for that kind of lead,
Yeah.
but you do get a mix of those. But for you, as we've been doing marketing and stuff, and just marketing in general, you kind of hit on that topic earlier. Like, what is the value of marketing over just using word of mouth?
I would say word of mouth is definitely a good thing to have, but it takes time.
Mhm.
Takes clientele and reputation and months and years of doing the work for that to pan out and people to get your name out there and all
Yeah.
that. So it's kind of a slow thing. It's kind of more of a long term
Yeah.
goal to have. But I think marketing is something that can really jumpstart you,
Right.
and get your name out there in a faster way and get you in front of a lot more people. That
Mhm.
might not be, in your area or, down the road from the person that you worked with last. And it's kind of a numbers game of, getting
Yeah.
that visibility out there. I just went and talked to a guy, that got my number off a yard sign that they mowed over it months ago. And,
Wow.
but
That's crazy.
but if you show up, I think in front of people constantly enough and they see you around and they might not call you tomorrow, but you'll be on their mind whenever they're ready.
Yeah.
Uh, it's kind of like brand recognition and stuff.
Right.
So
Think top of mind. Yeah. So that
yeah,
we do even here. I mean, we're spending 3, 4, or 5,000 a month on our own marketing for Blue Goat land leads on Facebook ads and various channels. And yet we still do stuff like the podcasts, social media, YouTube shorts, videos, and all that because it's also a staying top of mind and building up a reputation in your specific industry as a go-to person for the work that needs to be done. Right. So I think that's something else that I think that I talked about this a lot in the last couple of podcasts, but I can't say it enough. I even sent a text to a bunch of friends today about this, but just the trend seems to be that we're in a place, and I think it's ramping up where people aren't just looking for anybody who can do the service, but they want it's always been like they don't want anybody. You've always got a handful of people who love Angie's type stuff. Like I'll just have 5 guys call me, the lowest price wins, and whoever's the fastest gets my work. But I think a lot more people who like to do the homework, especially if it's going to be expensive. They're going to spend $1,000+ service. They want to go see, is this person reliable, trustworthy? Do they have the right equipment? Can they do the job that maybe I have for them? And then the next step up, which is where I think we're headed, which is it's been growing, but I think it's really starting to ramp up, is they find that information, but now are you really the best person to work with? Like, are you the top of the top in our area for this service that I'm looking for? I want the best person because they're going to be most trustworthy. Likely going to be able to actually do the job and not halfway do the job, and they're going to give a great product and great customer service, right? So if you've got a name and a brand on top of being found, on Google or on Facebook, stuff like that, but now you have a name that they just keep hearing over and over and over again. They're more likely to want to work with you, even if they couldn't even remember your name, but they're like, "Oh, I have been seeing you." There's something about that that just in their mind goes, "Yeah, like, please give us a quote." I don't even know what the price is yet, but I'm excited about the idea of you doing the job instead of someone else I've never really heard of. Do you see that as a thing up there in where you're at?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely see that. I think people like to look at reviews and things like that, and so I think that's
Yeah.
a big part of it is marketing is getting it's going to get your foot in the door and get you in front of people, and then it's your job as the business owner to provide the top notch service to them, and always take care of the customer
Right.
and do your best for them, and take that extra step. And sometimes people ask for something and it's a little bit outside of the scope what we discussed, and
Yeah.
it's better in the long run. It's going to take me a couple extra hours or whatever, but those people are always really happy, and they're the ones that are
Right.
going to send me friends or relatives, or have me back next year when they need more stuff done.
Right.
um,
That
so
repeat business is a thing, right?
yep. So I think if they're all encompassing, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another big one too, is the repeat. I think a lot of guys, especially in lane clearing, forestry mulching, oftentimes you do have one job, right? You're like, clear this area. That's all they wanted to hire you for. But when you're doing residential, those guys become a repeat, and even some of the commercial as well. But the repeat business from those residential, they're like, now that I did hire you, I found you, I trust you, I'm excited to work with you. Now you've come, you did a good job like I hoped you would. And by the way, now I have phase two of what I really wanted done, or I have more work, or my extended family has more work, or whatever. And there's some like repeat business, that you get to be a part of, which is awesome. Cause now
Yeah.
you have a lifetime value on that customer instead of just a one and done project. Cause there could be additional jobs and projects or whatever. So I think that's great. So how do you make sure that you have just the top quality, but balancing that with like speed and efficiency? I mean, because again, you in your area have some dense forests, and I know just some of that is time too. So how do you balance speed with quality?
um It's kind of like I don't know what it's called, the triangle of, you can have it cheap, you can have it good, or you can have it fast, but you can't have
Yeah,
all
that's true.
three.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
so it's for me, it's about having a conversation with the customer, and really looking at what they're wanting.
Mhm.
Some people, they just want stuff down. Some people want it ground up more.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's just it's figuring out what their needs are and what they're
Mhm.
actually looking for. So you're on the same page, and then you can, if they're like, hey, I just got this amount of money and I want to get as much cleared as I can. They
Yeah.
don't care as much about if it's finely shredded, or and then so
Yeah.
then you can provide them with the service that they're looking for. Where the
Mhm.
next customer might be like, hey, I don't mind spending the extra money um, to get this done. I want it done, real sharp, and grind things up more and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it's just about meeting people where they're at on their needs, and really figuring out that you're on the same page with them, and then you can, provide what they're looking for.
Right. Well, and along that vein, how important is it to set client expectations? Because if
Oh,
you're like, "Man, I see this is a real dense area," and you know in your brain, but they're like, "Oh, I wanted it done today." Like, how important is that expectation or setting the expectations?
that is important, for sure. And I've definitely learned that the hard way. I've tried to push things a little too far that I shouldn't have, as
Mhm.
far, because we do have some wet areas and stuff, and
Yeah.
people want you to kind of go out in there, and then you end up getting yourself stuck for the day. And
Yeah.
I've kind of learned, like, sometimes it's better to be upfront and say, no, I don't really do those types of areas of that. Sorry.
Mhm.
But here's what I can do, and then also letting them know what the outcome's going to look like, and what you're going to try to accomplish for them and stuff. If there's difficult terrain, or there's rocks or things like that,
Right.
that's going to cause challenges, or issues, just letting them know, like, hey, like if customers have like a rocky area, I might have to float the head up and not have it on the ground, and just letting
Yeah.
them know. hey, obviously there's a bunch of rocks here. I can't run this thing through that. So I can run over the top of it. And it's, it's not going to be the prettiest, but it'll be down.
Right.
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 And if they're not good with that, then we'll have to back up and think of a different plan or do something different.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely good to manage expectations and talk to them about stuff, options. And because I've even done things, instead of doing stump grinding, I bring my mini excavator over and dig the stump out,
Dig it up. Yeah.
do stuff like that.
Uh,
Just depending on what they're looking for.
Right. How do you handle the wet season?
I mean, for the most part, I mean, if it's been super wet, I'll try to give it some time to dry up a little bit. Mostly if you're not in like a swampy area here, you're usually pretty good. I mean, it might be, it might be muddy and messy, and it's definitely slows you down because you're getting stuff all over the door and all that. But yeah, it's if you're not in a swampy area, usually you're pretty good. Even in winter and stuff like that. It's
okay, cool. Yeah, I know guys at different states and different seasons have different things they got to deal with, and I know sometimes that mud is the thing. But guys are like, "Hey, we can talk today about marketing because at home we're just not running our machines at all because it's too muddy."
Yeah.
Don't want a big old machine getting stuck.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth it to stick one in the.
Have you had one get stuck in the mud before? To pull it out?
Yep. I've gotten stuck 3 times. Pretty good, and luckily been able to get myself out of there. But I've definitely seen where you can get yourself stuck, and then you have to, rent or call somebody, bigger equipment. And it's a lot of time, effort.
Yeah, I was gonna say you like shut down for hours or days. Yeah, depending on how badly it's stuck. And you're doing forestry mulching, so you're in some remote areas, and you gotta like either bring in another one of your pieces of machinery or call someone else who can come out and pull you out. Like, and time is money, right? Like that's then the client's in there going like, "What are we paying you for? Come on, let's go. I thought this project would be done by XYZ."
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah,
well, I'm glad to hear not that bad in your area. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, well, what is the toughest challenge you face? Like, how do you handle it? Like, what's the one of the biggest things that you've either one time only or on a regular basis, you're like, this is really our biggest hurdle that we always have to like work through?
I would say the biggest hurdle right now is kind of being a one-man band. Because I'm I have to talk with all the marketing and the accountant and the tax people and then work, clean the equipment, maintenance the equipment,
right?
Set up the jobs, go bid, stuff like that. So that's probably my biggest hurdle is it's very time consuming right now. I'm busy enough, or a little bit almost too busy for just myself, but not busy enough to justify hiring somebody. So I'm in that in between spot.
Yeah, that's always a tough spot.
Yeah.
And it's something that we do. I coach other marketing agencies, and one of the things we talk about is working yourself out of a job, like, and not as a whole, but like, what is it that you're doing this week that you really don't like doing and that's keeping you from making money? So it may be busy work that needs to get done, but it's not money making work. It's just like, for instance, like bookkeeping and payroll and all that, right? Like that's an important thing to do, but it isn't a position or a job or a couple hours of work that's going to make you any money. It's just going to cost you money to do. And so figuring out like, all right, as the owner, what is it that I can, like, jobs like that, start looking and say, all right, I'm going to start outsourcing this, or I'm going to start hiring for this or whatever, and take that off my plate. And instead of just being like, oh, I'm got more free time, it's like, no, that free time that you just freed up is going to be put into more money making activities so that you can really keep scaling the sales side or the money making side with the right activities. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I've definitely seen, where they do like time audits of your day and stuff, because you kind of put an hourly value on your time, and
Yeah.
And if you could be doing a $50 an hour job and farm out the 10 or 15 or
Yep.
$20 an hour job, then you should
Yep.
probably do that.
Yeah. And it's like, and I know you're in that spot where you're like, man, I feel stuck. I can't quite afford it. But it's like, all right, but what's one little thing? What is it
Yeah.
that you're doing right now that maybe it's just a couple hours a week right now that you would only cost you, a couple of bucks to pay someone to do that may not be even a mid-level, but like super low level stuff. So figuring that piece out so that you can keep scaling and replacing it with sales and money making activities. So hey, I don't know if you know this. Maybe I told you this. I got your website up over here. Your website is like my primary example site. I show guys like all day, every day. Like I love your site, and I get guys in the dirt world who like just had like GoDaddy put something junky together, and they're like, "Here's my site," and I always look at it, I cringe, and I'm like, "Okay, it functions. It'll get the job done." But let me show you something that looks a more modern and a lot more appealing. And on YouTube, I'm actually going to show you guys the website because I think it's worth talking about and showing. But what would you say? How important is this when people who don't know you exist? So they're not the word of mouth people. They're not the referrals, but they're the people who find you through Facebook or through Google or marketing or signs or whatever. How important is it for your online presence to look sharp? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's extremely important. I think it's important to spend that money as soon as you can to build your brand out and make things look
Right.
nice. I think being presentable as a company and as your brand um, is important. I mean, having just like yourself being not showing up with a dirty t-shirt to a bid
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
stuff like
For
that.
sure.
Your website's kind of like that in your
That's right.
brand, and you
Yeah.
want it to be clean and sharp and have good usability as well. I've been on
Right.
other people's websites, and the functionality's not there, and it
Right.
doesn't look very good or well done, and that does have an impact on people's opinion.
Yeah.
Um, because like you said, they're looking for that top notch service,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
that kind of that'll set you apart.
Right. Yeah, you hear it all the time. Like, and I before I even started working with land clearing guys, I actually had to hire a land clearing guy one time. And I'm looking at the project and I'm thinking in my mind, not being a guy who would ever run machinery myself, but I was like, hey, this is gonna need, a serious company is gonna have to do that. We got a lot of trees, we got to be like descent. And in my mind though, there was a lot of guys that I would find that just had a little skid steer and they called themselves a link company, and I was like, I don't think you're the guy. Like, I don't know. I don't think, and not that you're not professional, but like, sure enough, I can't tell if you can do this job at all. So it was like the gatekeeper, like it got in the way of me even asking for a quote or getting information. Or I would look and find guys that just looked like super, like it was 1994, wanted their website back. I mean, it was just so bad.
Yeah.
And I thought, if you're treating your online presence like this, if this is what represents you, I haven't even spoken to you yet, but it's speaking something to me, and it's telling me like you don't really care about how you look and all that. So maybe they were great, but I just didn't even want to give them a chance because I was like, I can't. I'm looking for a company that looks professional, and so one of the things that stands out about your site, and I'll show a picture here on the YouTube about what it is. But one of my favorite things on your whole site, though, is you've got a photo of you standing on your machine.
Yeah.
And I always show that to guys. I go, this shows character. Like, this is what your general population wants to see when they get there. We're used to seeing like shiny, like general looking websites, but when you can show some personalized photos, and especially with you as the owner, like interacting with your machines or on, like I love you're squatting on top of the roof of your machine. And I stop there all the time. I tell guys like this, like if we're gonna build you a site, I need photos like this. I want to see you like personalized in some of these pictures instead of just a machine out there in front of a field or a forest. And I've noticed those do better, like when they have there's personalization to it. Again, it's that going back to what we said earlier, that whole branding piece that people are like, there's a real person, there's a real company here, there are real people that work here, and it's not just a whatever. Like I'm collecting information as I go online. I say, this guy's got these pieces of equipment. I see some other jobs they've done that look similar to mine or larger or smaller or whatever. And I see a real person or their family or whatever, or their staff. And now I'm feeling better about getting a call or giving you a call and getting a quote from you, because everything is starting to give me lots of information that's checking my boxes before I even make that phone call. So I've always loved that part about your site. I'm pushing people all the time. Go be person, go be fun, do something fun with your machine, and people love it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great example.
Yeah.
So
That was an impromptu. I was actually standing on the skid steer looking out at what I had done and what I needed to do. And it was actually a customer of mine rolled up on his golf cart and took that. He's like, hold on, let's take a picture. And then he sent that to me. And yeah, that's been pretty popular.
It's a great shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even to post that on Facebook, right? Like to make that part of your look and feel, like people just feel like, oh, you're a real person. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. And you're fun. Like it makes me feel like, I feel like if I call, I'm not going to get an immediate argument with this guy. Like it looks like this guy, it's like laid back, enjoys his job, loves what he does. Let's go. Like, yeah, that's the guy I want to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all part of it.
Yeah. They say people buy from people, not from companies.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. And I think that's a growing demand because of AI, because of giant corporations. A lot of stuff looks bleached, and it's like, I want a real person. I just want to see and talk to a company that is really owned by someone local to my area, knows our culture, knows our city. Even if they're not from this exact city, are they from the area at least? And there's ways with marketing we can work around some of that. We got some of our clients, we'll go 150 miles outside or plus. But it's not like that's what people prefer oftentimes, is somebody that really knows our area and feels like a person. So yeah, I think that's a big piece of it. That's cool.
Yeah.
I dig that photo. I'm looking forward to showing people on the YouTube this video photo. It's just fun. And it's not complicated. It's like you said, dude rolled up on a golf cart and you're just walking on the hood on the top. So get the photo. It's not a big deal.
Yep.
All right. So KR Forestry, where is it going to be 5 years from
now? 5 years from now, I'm hoping that I'm out of the skid steer for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the goal is replace myself and be able to step back more into the office side of things and be out there marketing the business and building clientele and going around and getting those big commercial jobs or the civil jobs and checking out jobs and stuff like that. And I'll always have the love for the equipment and want to jump back in with, but I want it to be an option and not the requirement.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We'd love to grow this and get some more employees and just build this thing out.
Yeah. That's, saying we've done the same thing here at our agency at Blue Goat is, it started with just me all by myself. And so I did everything for our clients early on. Any marketing that was done, my end did it all. And then you get to a certain size, you're like, I can't physically do this for everybody at the same time. And so figuring out, all right, but so even in my hiring, it was like, who, not only just someone to replace me, but someone maybe even better than me could replace me. That's really what I want. And so then I step back, I'm leading that person, watching, checking in, setting, the goals and the KPIs or whatever, but also watching them do what they do really, really well, even better than I could do it. And that was really cool when I started seeing like, all right, we're starting to get staff who are even better than me at these things. And I'm learning from them. I'm like, man, you're good. I'm so glad you're part of our team. Please stay. Don't ever go anywhere else.
Yep.
But what we find is every time I replaced myself, we would grow and we would go faster and we go better and we'd be stronger. And it was amazing because now it was like people just dedicated to that one thing instead of me trying to be the generalist of all things in the company.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I love that. I think that's exactly where you should be aiming 5 years from now. That's awesome. I still stay involved with the sales. I still stay involved with some of the marketing myself because I like it. I like that part of it, but all the day-to-day operation stuff, we have team members who handle all that stuff, but you're always gonna find like your thing. I think there's other guys I've talked to who are like, I want to outsource that part, the sales and marketing part, and I just want to be the operator because they just love putting their earbuds in and hitting
Yeah.
up a forest and getting after it for a couple days. They
Yeah.
like the hum of the machine. So that's cool. So you like that aspect of the sales side and the projects, the larger, more of like the big dog overseeing the full operation than the machine.
Yeah. 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 I like going out and talking with people and kind of getting a feel for their vision of whatever they want to do with their
Yeah,
property and figuring out, how to best address that for them and be most cost effective and
yeah,
help them, achieve that, especially if I can do things where they're not, breaking the bank on it. That's
yeah.
one side of it. But I do love running equipment and stuff and as well. So I don't think I'll ever completely jump out of that, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's fun.
That's cool. Well, one of my last questions I like to ask, and it's a fun one, is what so far? And I know you've said you're like, "Man, I don't have like 20 years of under my belt, but in time that you've been rocking and rolling this thing, what's the craziest thing you've seen on a project,
Um, I don't know. It's a good question.
or even in terms of a customer that you've had to deal with? Like, I always call the project not only the work being done, but also the people you're dealing with.
Yeah. I mean, I've had really good customers.
Awesome.
For the most part, I've never had any issues. Probably one of the coolest jobs I did was a disc golf course last year. It was
Oh,
20.
nice.
Yeah, they bought a house with 36 acres, and we ended up clearing 20 of it.
Oh,
Um,
that's awesome.
and that was my first big job, and
Nice.
dove in head first and hit the
Yeah.
bottom. It was great.
Oh, man, I love disc golf, so I'm like, I think
There-
that's so cool. So you got to did you do the design work at all, or they just literally showed you an aerial and said, "Here's how you're gonna cut the
Ye-
forest around it, each hole."
Yep. He had his own plan and I
Okay.
just worked with him and we cleared out everything for him and I still stay in contact with him. He sends
Yeah.
me pictures all the time. I think they're number 5 in the US right now. That's what they're
What?
so yeah.
Nice.
I think they use it's UDisc, the UDisc
Okay.
Golf app or something like that.
Mhm,
It's called
mhm.
Purgatory. It's super cool.
That's
And
awesome. I love that. And did you have to deal with any of the topography as well, like ups and downs? Did you do any kind of earth moving with that? Or was it just a
um,
flat in the forest?
it was actually quite a bit more hilly than we had expected. It was
Okay.
so overgrown. When I
Yeah.
went to look at it, we didn't even know what was in the middle. You couldn't even
Mhm.
get in there. We ended up having to, my equipment broke tw 2 or 3 times, and then
Oh,
I ended
no.
up having to rent a bigger, unit because
Okay.
some of the stuff once I got in there was so large and it was taking so much more time. We had a
Mhm.
time crunch to get it done so he could get open. Um, so that was pretty interesting. That was actually one of the jobs I got stuck on. Um,
Oh, man.
so
You're like, "I'm so sorry. I'm working on it. I'm hurrying."
y yeah, so
That's fun. That's cool, man. I love that. I think that's really neat. I like disc golf. That's why I'm, like, fascinated by it. Because every time I see a new course, I'm like, "Alright, why did they decide to leave this tree here, but they took this one out, or these 2 trees make an X, and you gotta try to throw it right over those 2." And they
yeah,
purposely designed it that way to leave certain trees in certain spots and not all of them.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just
I've
think that's
never
so
I've never really played disc golf, maybe a couple times, but he
yeah.
was he was talking about, this is gonna be a left-hand throw, you
Yeah,
know.
that's what I'm saying, like, it's those guys are that's why I was like, "Did you have any part of that?" Because that's the complicated part, is,
No,
like,
that was all
figuring
him.
out how you want it to be left or right. Is it a mid-range, long range? Is it a putter? Like, yeah, that I don't like golf, but I like disc golf. I'm
Yeah.
terrible with golf. I can tell people like, "Oh, you wanna go golfing? I'll go to Topgolf. We can go top golfing," but
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go out on a real course for golfing
right,
because I don't feel like being in the woods the whole time looking for my ball.
right, exactly.
Tanking it. So, well, that's
Yeah.
cool, man. So tell everybody how can we find you? Tell us your website, your social media. If somebody wants to go look you up, how do they find you?
Well, we got our website, krforestry, .com, and then KR Forestry on Facebook and KR Forestry on Instagram as well. Which you and your team are doing a fantastic job marketing or
Oh, thanks,
that.
man. Thank
It's been
you.
great
Really
working with
appreciate
you.
that. Oh, love that. Thank you so much. I mean, it's the world to us. And we
Yeah,
appreciate you trusting us too to handle your marketing, and love what you're doing, and excited to see you guys just keep scaling and growing and killing it. And at the bottom of our YouTube, we'll have links to the to your website and your socials as well, so people can find you. And we'll be doing some YouTube shorts as well. We'll link. But thank you so much for being on. So appreciate it. It was good having this combo with you, and thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back in a while with our next interview. So thanks, y'all.
awesome.
Take care.
Thanks for having me.
Got it.
Bye.